All right, great. All right, well, I just want to welcome everyone to the Cobank Rural Hunger Grant Competition webinar. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Matt Schnarr, and I'm the Expansion and Partnerships Manager for the Campus Kitchens Project. I also first want to thank you all so very much for all the hard work you've already put into this effort. I hope you know that all the steps that you've taken even to get to this point to qualify for this competition really has laid a solid foundation for your campus kitchen that you're going to be continuing to plan and to implement over the next few months. So we're super excited for this video competition to get started, and I hope you guys are as well. I really think, obviously, it's great to foster a really healthy sense of competition. While this is going to be a competition, I want us all to remember that we hopefully all will be part of the Campus Kitchen Network very soon, which is super exciting, regardless of the outcomes of this competition. So this webinar is going to have a couple purposes. One is that to make sure everyone is really clear on how the competition is going to work. We're going to go over all the logistics, the timeline, how to vote, and pretty much everything you need to know in terms of that. The other important thing about this webinar is that we're going to help prepare you to really help to get out the vote for the competition and make sure you are utilizing all your outlets to reach your audiences. So for that portion, in a little bit, I brought in our resident social media guru, Tyler Tripp, in our office here, and you'll hear from her in just a little bit. All right. So before we jump into things, I do want... one second. I want to thank our sponsor, which didn't show up here right now, but it is Cobank. And they are really amazing, and their commitment to ending especially rural hunger across the country and really finding sustainable solutions to that is truly inspiring. And we're really excited and proud to be able to work with them and provide these grants for you guys. Let's talk a little bit right now just about the basics about the competition so we're all on the same page. So the competition timeline, as you might know, the competition begins when we post your videos on our voting page on Monday, November 2nd at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. So at that point, and not until then, you will then be able to start to view and vote for your videos right at that time. The competition is going to run the entire week and will end on Monday, November the 9th, also closing at noon Eastern Standard Time. The winners of the competition will be announced that same day, soon after we close the voting. So one thing to know is the main page for voting, where you're going to find the leaderboard to see how the schools are ranked, and also all the videos that are competing are on this main page, which is www.campuskitchens.org/Cobank. So I will actually jump to that page really quickly. So here you'll see, and this is just a test page, this isn't live, though the videos that we have are on the page, though clearly the voting is not actually open. But here's the main page, which will be the Cobank page, which has the leaderboard right here. And then below we'll have all the videos that are submitted. So we'll jump back to this in a second and to actually show how this works. But let's go back to this real quick. In addition to that main page, each school is going to have a personalized page on our website that takes your audience directly just to your video, to vote just for your video. So that link will be something that looks similar to what you see on the screen now, which is campuskitchens.org with your school name. So we're going to send you that link as well as other information next Monday. And Tyler will talk a little bit more about that as well. But just so you know, there are the two places you can go to vote for your videos, which are the main page and also your personalized school page. Those are the places that you can vote. So on that same vein, let's talk a little about how to actually vote, because this is really important when you are spreading the word about the competition to all your folks on campus and in your community. You want to be sure that they're doing the right things. You can tally all the votes that you can get. So the only way that you can vote for your video is to click the Vote Now button on the pages. So here, we'll zoom in. This is a shot from an older video, obviously, but this is what it looks like on the main leaderboard page. You're going to see the little gray and orange Vote Now button. So you'll click that, and that will then register the vote for that video. If you happen to be on your school's individual page, that same Vote Now button is going to be on the bottom right. But just to make sure that we're clear, that is the only way that someone can vote for your video. I'm going to actually just jump out of here again to show that in real time. So again, this is not the actual live site, but you can see that if I wanted to vote for Baldwin Wallace, I would click vote now, and it would say, thank you for your vote, and have a +1. And if you refresh the screen, then you can see that we see the 1 right here. And you also note that the videos load randomly every time, so it's not going to be the top school is always the first video. It's going to always reload the videos every time you refresh the page, but this leaderboard will show who is in the lead throughout the competition. So just know, again, if we went to an individual page, we wanted to vote now, it'd be right here, you'd plus vote now, and that would tally your vote. And if we went back, you could then see, if we refresh the page real quick, that vote was then tallied for there as well. So that's just an important note to see that that's the only way you can vote for your videos. So that being said, let's look at how not to vote. Just so there's no confusion, and this is good just as you are promoting your video, if anyone goes to our voting page or your video page and clicks the like button for Facebook, or clicks the tweet button, or even goes to the YouTube video itself and likes that YouTube video on our YouTube channel, while those things are great, they do not help with the vote tally. So you want to make sure people are voting using the Vote Now button, but you do also at the same time really want to encourage people to not only vote, but also to tweet and share and like on social media, because that's a really great way to continue to get more votes from other people. So Tyler will go over this in a bit, but the tweet and like and share buttons that are attached to each of your videos come with pre-generated tweets and that already tag your school and our funder and us, and so it's a really great way for people to continue to spread the news about this competition. So you really want to encourage them to not only vote, but also to use those social buttons to share this out all over through their channels. But again, only the Vote Now button is the button that will work. And I think you saw on the page, if you've already voted for that day, if you try to click it again, it's going to say, please vote again after 1 day. But we'll talk a little bit more right now, actually, about the voting rules and how our voting system works. And this is, again, another really important part that you should know as you spread the word about your videos and about this competition. So the main thing that you're going to need to know as you promote your video is that our voting system limits 1 vote per person per IP address or device per day. So what that means is that one person can vote from the same computer, phone, tablet, any device only once per 24-hour period. So basically that means a person can vote 7 times per device throughout the competition. So that's something to remember, that when you're getting the word out that someone could vote from their personal computer, they could vote for their phone, they could vote from their tablet, but it's per IP address or per device. So one small thing that is something that happens pretty much every time we have one of these competitions is if you're voting from a network of computers. So perhaps it's a group of computers that may share one IP address, maybe in a computer lab or a library or somewhere else in another building on campus. It might show up that if one person from that group votes, that it might not register other computers in that same group. So while we know that's not ideal by any means, but also realize that that same limitation is the same for every school participating. So we've definitely run into some issues in the past with a large computer lab where students might typically be on computers that would be a perfect place for them to vote. They're not able to because one person already voted from that IP address that day. The way really around that, there's no really technical way around that. We would just encourage folks to vote from their smartphones or folks to vote from home if you're running into those issues. Just let them know that it's not something that we can change. And we realize it's not super ideal, but that's how our voting system works. It's the way to keep it the most fair and know that that is a limitation for everyone competing. I want to reiterate again, while this is a competition and we definitely want you to have that feeling of competition, which is great, we should all still remember that at some point, every one of these schools is going to be a part of the Campus Kitchen family. So any form of cheating will be grounds for disqualification. So that means you're prohibited from obtaining votes by any fraudulent or inappropriate means. That could be, like offering prizes or other incentives to prospective voters. And as we monitor the votes, votes that are received from any IP address in excess, so more than 7 times, are going to be voided out. So any use of any kind of script or macro or any robotic or automatic system to vote, especially with the intent to impair the integrity of the voting process, is strictly prohibited, and all of those votes will be void. Probably don't have to even say that, but just need to say it to make sure. Let's just have a really clean competition, but still make it be very fun. So, but bottom line, no cheating. So this is just the first little part about kind of the basics of the competition. Does anyone have questions before we move on to both Tyler's part and then a few more parts about kind of the prizes and after the competition? Does anyone have questions about the actual, how the competition works? And feel free to also type in the chat box, and Tyler will be looking at that as well. And if you have anything else, we can clearly discuss that afterwards. But at this point, I'm actually going to pass it along to my colleague Tyler to talk a little bit more about both social media and outreach in general.
All right. So hi, everyone. My name is Tyler, and I'm the Community Engagement Manager here at the Campus Kitchens Project. And as Matt mentioned, a lot of my job involves posting on social media. So Matt and I decided to come up with a few tips for the best way for you guys to share your video with your networks and encourage others to share it, and also encourage people to vote for your video. So up here on the screen, you'll see some sample social media posts and some sample images. So I will be sending out custom sample social media posts and images to every school. So they'll look very similar to this. And I've made Facebook and Twitter images for every school to share. So these are for you guys to share personally or to share with your networks and encourage them to share. So as Matt mentioned before, I'm going to be sending everything to you guys by Monday, October 26th. And in that kind of batch of stuff that I share will be custom tweets that you can send out, and custom Facebook posts and images. And then, as Matt mentioned, also the link to your posts, and then a press release, which I'm going to go over in just a little bit. So for posting on Twitter and Facebook, this is probably going to be your primary outreach tool. And so it's really important to tweet at and tag people or groups in both on Facebook and on Twitter. So in these examples, you can see that I tagged your schools, and feel free, if there's like another organization or a department or a person or anything in your campus community that you want to tag, feel free to substitute them in. Tweet this out more than once, tweet to a bunch of people, just definitely try and get the message out there. And also, in some of these, you can see that we tagged Cobank, and they're going to be on the lookout for everything that you guys post on social media, and they'll be wanting to retweet you and kind of also spread the messages. So the more people you tag in a tweet or on Facebook, the better, and especially if you tag us. So our Twitter is Campus Kitchens, and on Facebook it's the Campus Kitchens Project, because if I see it, I will definitely retweet it, I'll like it, and I'll share it. You also definitely want to try and tag your university, like you can see in these examples, because it's going to be really great if your university can share what the competition and that you guys are competing, and also encourage people to vote. And your university is probably the largest network you have access to, so you definitely want to tap into that. You can, as I mentioned, you can also tweet at different departments or club or anything else that you're involved in. Even if you're personally involved in it or just something else that's big on your campus, it's a great way to spread the message and encourage people to vote. So also in these posts, you can see that there is a bit.ly link. There's a link at the end of every message. And bit.ly is just a website that shortens links. So like especially for Twitter, you can write more and have a smaller link. And I've made custom CKP-Cobank, and that's going to take you to the main page that Matt just showed you with the leaderboard. And I encourage you guys to use this in the individual social media posts that I send you. You'll have a unique bit.ly link that goes directly to your page, which I'll also send you in that email, where it can take viewers and people directly to your post, or you can share this Cobank one. It's kind of up to you. But as Matt said again, people can't vote by liking something on YouTube or on social media, so definitely while it's great to encourage people to watch your video, don't include a link to your YouTube video, because then no one can vote for your video that way by watching it. So definitely try and use the bit.ly link, or just a link that directs them back to voting. So as I said, the best way to probably share the video and get people to vote is through Facebook and Twitter, but you can also share the custom images on Instagram. If any of you have Instagram, I'm sure your university has an Instagram, and you can share the custom photos, the images that we make you guys, and just make sure to include either the link, which unfortunately can't hyperlink in an Instagram caption, but you can still include it underneath the image, or you can include the link in your bio, but just make sure you tell people that the link is in your bio. And so it looks like we actually don't have the hashtag in any of these examples that I used here, but we are going to be using hashtag launchckp, and that is included in a lot of the sample social media posts that I'll be sending out. And that's just a great way for me to kind of track what's going on, and I can see what you guys are sharing because I can follow along through the hashtag. And again, it'll mean more likely that the national CKP Twitter handle and Facebook page will be liking and sharing, and on Instagram, what you guys post. So it's just really great for me to kind of retweet and share what you guys have posted, but then you can also communicate and share this hashtag with your networks and encourage them to use it if they're tweeting about it, because again, then I'll see it and more people will just know to use it. So Matt, if you wouldn't mind going, so we can click on the social share buttons, and I can just show you guys what those look like. So here you have the social share button. So if you just, so you see the Facebook, the like, and the share ones. If you click like, it's just going to like, nothing will pop up, but it will just like from your account. And if you click share, so this pops up and it's going to automatically share the link, but there's no custom text. So definitely make sure to write in your own text there. And again, on Facebook, you can tag your university, you can tag us, you can tag Cobank or any other groups or organizations. It's just as important on Facebook to tag people because they'll see it. And I know this is kind of a wacky image. Unfortunately, we can't change it, but I think when you actually end up sharing it, it's going to look a little different than how it appears now. And then for the Twitter one, if you click on that, so we've created custom tweets for all of the videos. So as you can see here, this tags Arkansas Tech and it tags us, so I'm going to see it, and it tags Cobank, and it has the bit.ly link and it has the hashtag. So definitely share this. So all you have to do is click tweet, and if you are signed in, you just hit tweet and this will pop up. And I know it doesn't look like any of the accounts are tagged now or hyperlinked, but they will be if you actually tweet it out, they'll tag us. So you can change this if you want. Like I said, we've made it custom for every video. So if you click tweet on a different video, it'll have that school's name. So yeah, so definitely encourage people to vote and then encourage them to share because it's super easy. Basically, all they have to do is write a little message in Facebook and hit share, and then it's very easy on Twitter. So you can go, thanks for showing that, and then so now to outreach. So like I said before, it's very helpful if the university can share your video and encourage people to vote, since they're such a large network and they're connected to many other networks. And so you can start this outreach and you can start communicating with your university now. So a great way to do that is to get in touch with your school's media relations department and see if they'll help with outreach. So you can do this in a couple ways. One, you can just find someone in the communications or media office. You can look online, find their email, or call them, let them know about the competition, ask them to share your video on their social media accounts, maybe on the university's website, maybe write an article or a blog post about it. Definitely offer to help write it, to give them any materials, share the social media posts that I send to you and the images. Try and make it as easy for them as possible. And so that's one way you can encourage them or ask them to share it that way. And then, like I said a little bit earlier, I'm going to be including a custom press release to every school, and this will all go out in that big email on Monday. And so I'm going to be including a press release and a media list, and you can send out that press release to the local media, or you can also send that information, the press release and the media list, to your university's media office, and they can send it out too. And if they're not interested in doing that, don't worry, in this email on Monday I'll have instructions for how to send out a press release and what to include in the email for the press release and all that stuff if you guys decide that you want to do it. So another thing you can start doing now is reach out to school departments, the alumni network, sports teams, organizations, on-campus clubs, etc. You know, give them the social media posts and images, and which really empowers them to share. It makes it really easy for them, and just encourage them to get involved and kind of share your video and encourage people to vote. And if your university has a campus newsletter, try and be featured in it, and again, volunteer to help write something, collaborate on a story or a quick little blurb about it, include the image, and just help the staff write the piece and get information out on the competition that way. And then just brainstorm who else would want to share your video or be interested in voting or sharing in the community. So your ultimate goal is trying to engage with as many people as you can. You definitely want to encourage your peers and family to share too. So during the competition, you want to target your social media, like I said earlier. Definitely tweet at the university, tweet at Cobank, tweet at us, and also tweet at campus clubs, organizations, or any other community stakeholders that would be involved, that want to get involved and are interested in the competition. And you can also do in-person outreach. So you can go table on campus, you can go speak to clubs or organizations, and you can even go into classrooms and encourage people to vote that way, and if it's okay with the professors. And then again, don't be afraid to ask family and friends to vote too. Definitely send out an email to your family and friends and tell them to vote, and then share in their social media accounts. So now we'll go on to the calendar.
Actually, I'll just say like one quick thing on that, just in general, just from seeing, just so you guys know, in context to like competitions in the past, you know, really think big here. I mean, we have had competitions in the past where schools have gotten, you know, 10,000 votes. I mean, and it was for small schools, big schools. I mean, so I think it's really important to think big on this, to think that, you know, if we start engaging with our, you know, larger school and alumni network and all these other like huge networks that you guys have at your fingertips, if you start working at it now to kind of prepare people for that, and they can really share it and even feature it with a lot of those networks, this can be huge. So definitely don't wait until the very last moment. I think you know, starting to engage some of these larger players on campus and in the community right now and getting kind of a plan set up is going to really set you up to be successful for the competition. I mean, obviously, you know, putting most of your work during that week of really promoting it, but I mean, giving yourself a good foundation is really going to help. So definitely think big on this, folks, because it can be pretty huge and can really set you up to be not only successful in the competition, but you're really successful down the road just as a campus kitchen, because you're going to be engaging, you know, with your future volunteer base, future donors, all sorts of stuff. So you can really use this as a great PR tool, as well as obviously a fundraiser. So that's my 2 cents, but I'll let Tyler continue.
Okay. Okay, so here's the calendar that we've set up for the week. So as you can see on Monday, the first day of the competition, it says national, so that's just going to be CKP nationally, like on our website, on our social media platforms. We're just going to be featuring the competition as a whole, highlighting every school that's participating, just encourage people to learn about the competition, watch all the videos, and vote. And then throughout the rest of the week, you see that we highlight every school on an individual day. So this is important for you because we'll be tweeting and posting on Facebook and Instagram about your school. So then you can share that. So when we on Tuesday post about Arkansas Tech, then you can retweet whatever we are tweeting and like our posts on Facebook and share them as well. And then that kind of just shows that the national network is behind you and is encouraging you, and shows like how important this is and to your audiences as well. And then again on Sunday and Monday, it will be back to national. So we're going to try and give everyone equal amount of love on social media and on our website. And we're going to try and retweet you and like everything that you do all across the board equally. So just a few reminders before I give it back to Matt. Don't forget to shout out your universities, and don't forget to shout out Cobank and Campus Kitchens. It's a really exciting competition, and you definitely want to share your content, and I'm sure that your universities want to see it and see what you're involved in and what could be coming to the campus. Don't forget to include a link, whether it's the bit.ly link or a link directly to your video where people can post. I'll be sending everything to you guys on Monday the 26th, so that's graphics, social media posts, the press release, the link that hosts your video, your unique URL. So that'll be this Monday. And then, again, as Matt said, start prepping now. Start talking to departments, organizations in your community, anyone on campus that you have connections to get your video promoted. And don't wait until the competition actually starts, because that's only a week, and you guys have time, and it doesn't hurt to start now. So if anyone has any questions, you can go ahead and ask or type them in the chat box.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can we create a trailer, or is there a rule against like leaking any type of video footage?
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything directly related. Well, actually, I guess there's no rules. I mean, just know that the voting isn't going to be open until that exact day. So if you think it'll be effective to get people excited, but you also don't want to get people taking them to some place that's not the voting page and have them be confused. So if it's something just for social media's purposes and you just want to give a quick here's what's coming, that's totally fine. But just know that there's nothing they can do until Monday at noon.
Right, so something like a talking flyer, and probably just to be safe, remove that link when the competition begins, so they don't actually go to the wrong place. Okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyone else?
Alrighty. Well, we'll have time at the end for some more conversation questions as well, but I'm going to move on, and for the sake of time, and talk a little bit about the prizes. And so obviously you're doing this competition for a grant, and it's important to kind of know how the installments of these grants will break down if you win. So this will also show you how you can really use the money that you receive. So this competition is going to have 3 grantees, each of which is going to receive a $5,000 grant that's payable in 4 increments, so which I'm going to explain each of those right now. So for each winner, as soon as they sign the contract, and just to note that in the official rules it notes that you have exactly 1 month after the competition ends to officially sign our contract, which should be very, very easy, because if you already have signed the letter of intent with your administration, it's the same exact document. So basically it's just getting it re-signed by the same person who signed your letter of intent and then countersigned by us. So it's a pretty simple process, but you do have 1 month to get that signed, and then you'll be able to receive the first installment of this grant, which is for $1,500. And this is primarily designated for a planning fellow, which I'll explain a little bit what that is, and then some alternatives to that doesn't fit your needs. So in the past, we've seen that obviously these grants are meant for the continued planning and also the implementation of a campus kitchen, but we've seen that having a key kind of point person or student taking the lead for the rest of this planning helps things move along much more quickly. So this, if necessary, if you'd like to fund a planning fellow and giving a student a bit of a stipend to really take the lead to finish the kind of nitty-gritty logistics of the planning, this can be designated for that. Though we run into in the past have run into maybe some schools maybe have a really solid team that's kind of taking this as a group, or maybe they have a staff person that's helping a little bit as well, or maybe they're just really close and ready to launch and there's not as many logistics to be done. If that's the case and a planning fellow really isn't going to be super helpful for you, we obviously can be flexible with how we can use this initial funding, and that's something we can talk about individually with me, and we can kind of talk through ways that makes the most sense and what this can be used for most initially. So could be a planning fellow, also could definitely be something a little bit different. We can have that conversation if and when we come to that. So that is the first installment. Once you are ready to start purchasing supplies and other equipment that you might need for your campus kitchen, the second installment can be sent, which is $800, which is designated primarily just for supplies for your campus kitchen. So it could be, insulated bags or containers or disposable materials, aprons, t-shirts, anything you might need to help run and actually operate your campus kitchen. That's what the $800 is for. And then once you're actually ready to launch your campus kitchen, the third installment of $1,200 is received in an in-kind form, which means that we're going to be sending a person from our National Campus Kitchen staff for a 2 to 3 day training launch event at your school. So that will be a couple of things will happen there. One, we'll do kind of a really intensive training to make sure that everything, and mostly, when I say training, mostly just meaning making sure everything that you've set up already is going to be running smoothly and everything's going to be run safely. A lot of that will have already been set up by you guys, but it's us coming in, training you guys on our safety paperwork system, making sure that we meet all of the various stakeholders involved, and then also helping coordinate a big launch and a media event. So that usually consists of various things, inviting local media, having some sort of ceremony or event, and that funding can also go into helping fund that actual type of event. So the third installment, just to be clear, the first portion of that is an in-kind portion to send one of our staff to help do the training, and then any money that is left over from that $1,200 is then given to you as that actual cash that you can use. It will usually be lumped into the fourth and final installment, which once you have successfully launched your campus kitchen and gone through the launch process, you'll receive your final balance, which is the remainder of that $1,200 that is not used, and then the final $1,500. And this final installment, it really has not many. It's not confined by too much. It's basically there for the continued and overall financial sustainability of your campus kitchen. It's hopefully there to, if you ever want to expand and purchase something maybe a little bit larger, or expand and do other types of programming, or whatever it may be, or just to kind of have to use throughout the years, that remaining balance is there for that. So that's the breakdown of the grant installments. Finally, do you want to talk just a little bit about, this competition is really great, not only for being able to receive funding, but like I said before, it's really a great way to get your name, the name of the campus kitchen, out onto your campus. So really use this momentum of the competition to continue pushing forward, because you're going to get a lot of great, hopefully, PR and press and just great name recognition about what you're doing. And let this really guide you through the rest of your campus kitchen planning all the way up into your launch. Because again, like I said before, you're going to be, engaging with your future volunteer base, your future donors potentially, your future community partners, your future, staff support on campus. So it's a great way to really take this and use it as a big PR push for your campus kitchen moving forward. And that being said, coming off of this competition, it's really great to set a launch date for your campus kitchen and really stick with that. And make that as soon as you really can. And I know some of you probably already have I know you do actually have a launch date for your campus kitchen already in your mind for this next semester. But the absolute, and just so you know, written in the rules though, the absolute final date to launch your campus kitchen if you receive this grant is May 30th, 2016. So you can clearly launch anytime before then, but that is the final date to actually launch. And if you do not launch by then, you're not going to receive the remainder of the funds, and you may actually be forced to return the amount of the grant that was already paid. So I'm not concerned at all that this will be a problem, but just keep that in mind that is the timeline you're working on, that you need to be able to launch by the end of May 2016. And again, remember that even if you don't receive one of these 3 grants, you can and hopefully still will launch your campus kitchen. And in fact, every single competition that we've ever had in the past, every single participant, both the winners and the losers, have ended up launching their campus kitchen. And in fact, many of those that didn't receive funding were able to receive alternative funding because of the great PR that they got from this competition, maybe from their school or from a community member, because of all that great hype and PR, again, that they got from participating. So we also, from the Campus Kitchens project, have a ton of other great opportunities for funding, and will really help to continue to work with you and to be so you can definitely be part of that network and join our family. So remember that you've already done a lot of the hard work by getting these foundational pieces in place for your Campus Kitchen. And we really can't wait to continue to work with you guys for the rest of the planning and really start your program. And with that, we're just really excited for the competition, and I just want to open it up again for any general questions about how voting works, what you're going to be receiving, social media, anything that maybe you might have questions about. We'd love to be able to talk with that right now.
Matt, will the Prezi notes,
say it again?
Will the Prezi notes accompany the recording?
Yes, so this will be, I'll send,
Okay.
I'll send out this entire webinar with the visuals and the recording later today, so you can pass this along to other folks on your team, anyone else that might want to see this, or if you just want to revisit it again, so yes.
I have a question.
Yep.
Okay, so the first $1,500 for the planning fellow, like how, like, so I'm just kind of confused.
Yeah.
So, like, if I had a student who was like, I want to be the planning fellow, I want to spearhead this, then, like, does that money go in her bank account?
So schools do it different ways. Typically, no. Typically, this grant's gonna have to go through an office that works with grants on your campus, and then it can get a little convoluted if it then has to go through some other, either most likely through your sponsoring office, and then that can then be, if they do or if there's already like a work study program in place, if it could be implemented into that. I've seen it done various ways. I've also said a lot of schools end up not using it for that. So if we, I think it's going to be on a school-by-school basis how it ends up getting to that student. It most likely is going to be going through some sort of already work study or fellow program that's in place, but then having to work with a couple folks to make it even out. So we can work with that if and when we get to that place, figuring out the best way to get that through, but it most likely will not be going directly into their pocket unless we come to the point that makes the most sense, though it hasn't in the past. So most likely it'll go through some other department, or the school will be able to navigate that when the grant comes in through their grant department or through the grant. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that probably wasn't super clear just because it's different for each campus. So I would just say let's not worry about it right this second, but know that we'll figure a way out to make that work for each school if that's what they find the right folks to talk to on campus. And I'm just seeing in the chat box that Katie, you said, can we submit more than one vote from a single device? And I don't know if that was answered already or if that one that was submitted, but just to be clear on that, so you can only vote for a per device per one device per every 24 hours. So you can vote from your phone once every 24 hours, but after that, your phone, you won't be able to do that once again. So you'll be able to also vote from your computer once every 24 hours, and so forth. So hopefully, if that answers your question. Any other questions? And again, Tyler will be sending on Monday all of your social media posts, images, links, your press releases, anything that you might need in regards to outreach will get to you on Monday. And if you have any questions in the meantime, obviously you can reach out to me or Tyler anytime. If there's no other questions, I think that we are done. And I will be sending out, again, a recording of this later this afternoon. I'll remain on the line if there's any other questions. If not, thank you so much for taking some time, and we're really looking forward to this competition and seeing what happens. So yeah, have a good day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.